A week is finally passed and Moon Knight's second episode, Summon the Suit, is finally here. And that's why today in Flick Summary, Moon Knight. Episode 2. The second episode starts with Steven waking up from bed, this time acknowledging he has a second personality who controls his body from time to time. He tries to talk to Mark while looking in the mirror, but he doesn't seem interested to manifest. So Steven lets it go and goes to his work at the museum, upset about everything that had happened the night prior. There, he bumps into the security guard who tells him the bathroom had exploded. But instead of keeping his mouth shut, Steven suggests they should go look at the security cameras together. As they go into the surveillance room, Steven warns the security guard he's about to see something that might as well resemble the kind of thing you could only see in Area 51 or the MI6. But when they look at the footage, all they see is Steven hiding from an invisible creature only he could see. The guard realizes it was Steven who destroyed the bathroom, and even though the museum doesn't present charges, he gets fired. Next, we see Steven talking once again to the human statue from the first episode and telling him about everything that had happened before hugging him, for listening and then walking away. I can only wonder the things this human statue must be thinking while listening to poor Steven. Will he ever talk back to him though? What do you think? Steven then goes on a quest to find a storage locker that is apparently registered under Mark's name. He already has the key, which he found hidden in his flat along with the phone, and now goes into a building where the man at the front desk recognizes him and shows him to his unit. There, Steven finds a gym bag containing a gun, lots and lots of money, Mark's passport, and the golden scarab Arthur was so eager to get in the past episode. Steven picks it up and the scarab starts flying around, making Steven think it could be some sort of compass. But before he gets to do anything else, Mark's reflection appears on one of the unit's walls and starts talking to Steven, asking him to use the bed in the room to go to sleep so he can control his body and finish his mission. Steven clearly refuses and demands an explanation as to who he really is and what it is that he has been doing with his body. Mark finally reveals that he serves Jansu, the Egyptian god of the moon for whom he acts as his avatar. Mark explains they protect the vulnerable and deliver Jansu's justice to those who hurt them. Steven, however, is having a hard time understanding any of this and sort of panics at what is happening at the moment. He listens to Mark asking him to surrender his body to finish his mission, but Steven doesn't want to have any blood on his hands, so he claims he'll take the gym bag full of illegal stuff to the police and have them lock him up so he can't hurt anyone. But as he's trying to flee the warehouse, Jansu shows up and starts chasing him until they finally meet face to face. Steven finally exits the place and trips to the middle of the street where he is almost run over by none other than Layla, the girl that had been calling him insistently for months. She explains she tracked his phone when he turned it back on and they both hit the road on the motorcycle. Steven is still scared, but Layla, who still thinks he is Mark, tells him to lose the act as they had already lost whoever was chasing him. Steven tries to explain he is not Mark, but none of what he's saying makes any sense to Layla, who eventually reveals she is his wife, shocking poor Steven in the act. They go to Steven's flat where he tries to explain once again he is not Mark, but fails to convince Layla about it. They engage in a little conversation about Egyptian culture, and then Layla drops the divorce papers Mark had apparently asked her to sign. Steven, who is just meeting this girl for the first time, tells her he would never divorce her and attempts to explain to her once again he's not Mark, this time reaching the gym bag and intending to show her the content. Mark, however, who is looking at him through a small mirror, tells him not to show her the scarab inside the bag as that would put her in harm's way and could get her killed. Same reason as to why he asked her for a divorce to keep her safe. Upon hearing this, Steven stops, but it's too late. Layla is determined to learn what's inside the bag and moves him away so she can look through the stuff inside it. She finds the scarab and recognizes it immediately, revealing both she and Mark had fought side by side to get it, but misinterprets things and believes Steven was just putting on an act so he could keep the scarab for himself. He clearly doesn't want her to believe that, so he tells her to take it as he doesn't care about it one bit. Steven explains for the last time he is not Mark Spector and finally gets Layla to believe him. But just as this is happening, someone knocks on Steven's door. He opens the door to find two cops who were sent there to question him about the events that had unfolded in the museum's bathroom. He doesn't want them getting in, but they still make their way into the apartment, asking if there is someone else there with him. Steven answers negatively and they start looking through the apartment, but fail to find anyone there, as Layla had climbed out to the roof. After a short talk, the officers find the gym bag with Mark's passport and decide to arrest him, claiming they will take him to the station for further questioning. questioning. They all get in the car and drive away. On the road, the officers mention they had caught an international fugitive and reveal Mark Spector is wanted for murdering a group of archaeologists back in Egypt. They finally arrive to some sort of abandoned place where Steven realizes they are not actually cops and he had been kidnapped. As he tries to ask for help to some people outside the place, he notices they all have the same tattoo as Arthur. This is when he puts two and two together and realizes he was kidnapped by his followers. Steven is left alone in the car and Mark manifests asking him to let him control the body so he can get them out of this problem. Steven, however, claims he will never let him control his body again, being that he saw what he did to the archaeologists. Arthur, who had been listening to the whole thing through a walkie-talkie, tells Steven he heard what he said and opens the door of the car, letting Steven fall to the floor. Arthur helps Steven get up and they start talking, but Jansu appears and commands Steven to kill Arthur. This, however, doesn't surprise our cult leader, who already knows Jansu is there and tells Steven he can't do anything unless he lets him to. As they walk into the street, Arthur reveals the place they're at used to have the highest crime rate in the city, but things changed drastically and now people aren't even scared to leave their doors open during the night. It's not mentioned here, but one can only assume Arthur cleansed the place from evildoers using Amit's power. Anyways, now inside, Arthur invites Steven to eat some soup and they talk further about what it is they do in the place. Arthur reveals he used to be Jansu's avatar before Mark took over and that he is nothing but a weak god that no one respects and that only acts after someone has already caused suffering. He gives Steven the "I want to make Earth more like heaven" speech and tells him Amit will tear evil up from the root, casting her judgment way before any evil is committed. But to do so, he needs to get a hold of the scarab, as that is the only thing that will guide him to Amit's tomb so they can bring her back to life. Steven listens to what Arthur is saying but doesn't agree with his methods, stating that judging someone before doing anything wrong is basically judging an innocent. Things escalate and Arthur drops the nice guy facade to demand Steven to tell him where the scarab is, but he refuses to give him the answer. Just in time, Layla shows up and tells Arthur she has the scarab, but refuses to hand it over. She goes to Steven and asks him to summon the suit as he had done it before, but Steven has no idea what she's talking about and they both decide to run while angry Arthur summons the beast that chased Steven back at the museum the other night. Both Steven and Layla manage to secure themselves into a room, but the creature is 1 minute away from breaking in. Layla insists that Steven puts on the suit to get them out of the situation, but he refuses once again, and well, the Chakal has now broken in. Layla of course can't see the creature, but she does see Steven getting beat by an invisible force. He gets thrown out of the window where a certain death awaits. But he finally summons the suit while he is falling, which turns him into another one of his personalities, Mr. Knight, saving him before hitting the floor. The fight continues on the street, but neither Layla or Steven can defeat the beast. Steven does manage to land a punch though, and celebrates his apparent victory before being hit by the Chakal again and thrown to the middle of the street, where a group of people stare in awe as all they see it's just a guy in a weird costume fighting alone. The Chakal starts beating Steven again, but gets stopped momentarily when both it and Steven get hit by a car. Mark takes this as an opportunity to finally convince Steven to surrender the body so he can defeat the Chakal and end things once and for all. Mark takes over and he lures the Chakal to the roof, where a chase ensues, but ends when he grabs the creature and impales him into a pointy monument. His Moon Knight suit comes off, and as soon as it does, Mark realizes he no longer has the scarab. As it would seem, the artifact fell off of Steven's pocket while he was fighting the creature on the street. A homeless man finds it, but Arthur retrieves it and kills the poor guy, telling him he'd like it if he was alive to see what he's going to do with the world. Layla sees the whole thing but rides away while Arthur just goes his own way. Finally, Steven manifests through a mirror and talks to Mark, describing the awful feeling that is to be in the inside. He politely asks to go back to his body, but you know, Mark won't let him. However, he does promise that when he's done paying his debt, he will never be seen again, and Steven will be able to resume his life. Here we learn he serves Jansu because he saved his life, and apparently he needs to pay him for that by delivering justice the way the Egyptian god wants it. Plus, if he didn't accept, Jansu would have just gone to Layla, and that of course would have devastated Mark. Steven doesn't want to accept Mark controlling his body, so Mark simply breaks the mirror where Steven is at and is ready to go his own way. However, Jansu shows up and tells him Arthur got a hold of the scarab and now they're in trouble. But Mark assures him they still can prevent him from resurrecting Amit if they get to her tomb first. So they travel to Egypt, and that is where the episode ends. Things are starting to become clear now, huh? So, tell me, what did you think of this episode? What other personality do you think we'll get to see in the next episode? Let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. See you next time.